Well, hello, lovely ladies. Welcome to January 2026. How's the year going so far?
Awesome.
So far, so good.
All right, well, we should probably introduce ourselves to all the people who are going to be watching us on a monthly basis. So, my name's Jacqueline McGrath. I'm a IWH coach. I love my life. How about you? Who's next?
I'm Denise Thibodeau. I'm an IWH coach as well, and I am really excited to be partnering up with both of you as we just talk general women stuff for 2026.
And I'm Tracy Castor, also an IWH coach, and similar, really excited to partner with you guys and really bring our knowledge together and just help as many people as we can.
Awesome. All right, so I think the intention, and jump in because this is not scripted by any stretch of the imagination, but I thought it might be really cool to just chat with you guys to see what your plans are for like New Year's resolutions. Did you guys do any?
I'm not a resolution person. It's just not my jam. Um, but I do maybe set intentions for the new year. And I know that sounds so similar, but mostly because that week for me between Christmas and New Year's is when I have a lot of time where everybody else in the house is sleeping in. So I get some time to really stop and plan a little. And I don't think I carve out much time for that outside of that one week. But I don't generally think January 1st, I must do this. I feel like for me personally, it's just too much pressure to put on one day of the year.
I tend to agree with you. So it was interesting this year because 2025 was such a different year for me. And I had gone back because I love writing. I write every single morning. And so I went back into what I wrote around December. I'm like you, Tracy, between like December 26th through to the even now is a time of reflection. What worked last year? What didn't work last year? What I put an intention, did that really happen? And then sometimes you get these like moments where life takes you on a completely different tangent. And so this year, the reflection's a little bit different because I'm really, I don't want to compare myself and I don't want to set these hard rules that, hey, I have to set these rules. I want to lose weight. I want to, exercise. I want to clean my eating up, all these things that are really like hard. But I have to reflect and say, are these things going to work for me or not? So that was a different perspective than, hard ass, let's do this, like goals. Because how many times I've written those goals and I go back and I'm like, no, I gave up on that because I think they weren't realistic in reality to fit into my life.
What about you, Jacqueline? Are you a New Year's resolution person?
Oh, hate to say it, but I'm going to break your guys' mold. But yeah, I do. I do set a New Year's resolution. Um, I actually think that I usually master what I set, but I don't go crazy. So this year, my intention, if I'm using your word or my resolution for the year, is strength training because I'm postmenopausal. And everything I read, and probably the people who are listening, everything you read and see and whatever, um, as we age as women, that strength training is really important. So, but for those of you who are listening or, watching, love to hear what your thoughts are on strength training because, do you do a whole bunch of reps with a little bit of weight or do you like muscle these, 150-pound weights and collapse? I don't know what it really looks like. I'm traveling at the moment, so I don't have a gym. Is that an excuse? Hey, this is a annual plan. Right now, it doesn't fit into my lifestyle. I'm not saying that I've fallen off the wagon or anything. This is the goal for 2026.
Right. I think that's important to say. And hey, if you're watching this and it's mid-January right now, just take a breath for a second because this is usually the time people wonder whether or not they've messed up already and then maybe give up. So if that's you, we want you to know out of the gate that you're not behind, you're not failing, and you're certainly not alone. We just really want to have a real conversation today about weight loss, choosing yourself, and the wins that don't always show up on the scale.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I agree with that. And I think January is one of those months that's like a hangover month, right?
Mhm.
You think about, oh, because December was like a full-on busy schedule for people, right? If you're over, you might be doing some extra spending at that time. You have emotional highs and lows. There's all kinds of pressures that come on in December. And now that January's here, it's like, oh, I'm trying to breathe, but now I got to set a resolution, and there's extra pressure. And I think, I don't think it's about pressuring you into doing something. That's what I'm thinking is like, what do I really need? And I want to listen to my body. I want to listen to my circumstances. What worked last year and what didn't work is a really important question because it might just be a small tweak that changes, that is something that you can incorporate in your daily life to move forward. So I think there needs to be some reflection. I don't know what you guys think about that.
Well, I'm I'm just sort of curious because, Denise, you just finished saying, between Christmas and New Year's, and Tracy, you said that as well. So, how did you guys do between Christmas and New Year's? Like, did you find that when you came out at the other end and, came into 2026, you had gained a lot of weight? Or because I think a lot of people do because they maybe indulge a little bit on the sweets and drink a little bit of alcohol. And FYI, did you know that approximately 3,500 calories is equivalent to a pound of fat?
I
Wow.
didn't know that.
I did not know that.
I know. I was
I don't
like,
know if I want to know that.
well, it makes you think about things because an average drink is probably, I don't know, 120 or 30 calories. So maybe that's why they have dry January. How's that going for you guys?
Well, I don't drink, so
Oh,
but
well,
I
it works for
do.
you.
But what's really for me is one of the things I did do over Christmas and New Year's was really paying attention to the sugar intake, right? And I also was on a program called GLP-1 which is a natural GLP-1 system. And I think that really also helped me suppress my desires to overeat and snack. And I think that program for me was a really good choice to do in December because it helped me stay fuller
Accountable?
accountable, right? That I was going to pay attention to what I was doing.
Right. And similar for me, ironically, but I was started a little later, so I maybe it was about 2 weeks before Christmas. I don't have the date in front of me. Decided I would start the GLP-1 more for maintenance, to be honest. Um,
Yeah.
I could probably lose a couple pounds, but it wasn't my focus. But I certainly didn't want to gain any pounds. And historically, over Christmas and New Year's, I have, and it's been really successful for me. My pants are loose still. So I love that. That's always a good feeling. That's my favorite feeling, by the way. There's nothing better than putting on a pair of jeans you think might be snug, and then there's actually room.
Yeah, and I think that's really great how you said that about, and because as women, our scale is not our best friend. Like, I mean, and body mass index, which was created for a European man who clearly doesn't have breasts and hips and things like that. So, I mean, if we're looking at a scale and going, why isn't the scale moving? It's like jump into a pair of jeans. That's how I gauge as well.
Hmm.
Am I moving, in the right direction? I'm happy to say, like Denise and Tracy, I'm on the GLP-1 program. I didn't pack it on the trip because I was on it for 3 months. Loved it because I'm not a person to, poke myself with injectable that has those side effects that, maybe could happen. My mom was a health nurse. I used to run around the kitchen table. She used to have to chase me down and jump on me to give me a shot. So I have trauma, PTSD for sure. So I love the product though.
That's awesome. The other thing too, I think there's such a focus on weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. And I want to kind of change that narrative a bit and say maybe it's more like I just want to feel better, right?
Mm.
And it's not always a lot of people, like I'm coming across my sister-in-laws, my friends and stuff, and they're all like, I want to lose weight. And it's such a hard focus. I want to lose weight. But then I sit back and I think, that's always been my focus. But in reality, I want to feel better. Why? Because when I think about how my body is functioning, right? Am I sluggish? Do I need more energy? And then I have to ask the question, why am I sluggish? Don't I have energy? Am I sleeping good? Or do I, like assessing what are the things that are not working for you? And I think that's a better goal than go, I want to lose weight. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's,
I
I,
think you're,
I think
sorry.
that's better.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you hit the nail right on the head around focusing on more than just the scale and your weight in at all. Because if you can, I'm a big believer of writing down goals. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah.
people will write down their measurements and they'll maybe write down their weight. But I really encourage people to write down the other indicators. How are you sleeping? How are you feeling in the morning? How are you feeling after a meal that maybe wasn't the best choice? How's your body telling you? Because your body tells us stuff all the time. We just don't often listen. So I think it's so important to really take note of those things as you're going through any journey, whether it's to feel better. I mean, hey, listen, I love fitting into a pair of jeans that I didn't know that I would. But at the end of the day and at the end of the week and at the end of this year, I'll tell you what my goals always are is that I want to fast forward, not really, but when I think about fast forward in my life and sitting on the floor playing with my grandchildren, I want to be able to get up easy. I want to get up Christmas
Mm.
wrapping and not feel like my spine's about to break in half. And I really notice a massive difference when I'm filling my body with the right nutrients because all the other things can fall into place. Sleep, what I'm eating, what I don't want to eat, because I'm not craving the things I know I shouldn't be eating. And listen, if I, at Christmas, if my favorite dessert was on the table and I really knew I wanted it, okay, great. I'm going to really enjoy it. But I didn't have any of the sweets that are like mediocre that in the past I might have reached for because bother. When you eat it, you're like, oh, that didn't feel very good. So I want to be intentional about all those options. And I think all of that together tells a whole story that all influences each other. All those pieces. When you sleep better, you make better choices the next day. When you make better choices that day, you sleep better that night. It is all one giant cycle.
Yeah, I love that because I know that sleep for me was I was always not a morning person. That's the crazy part. I'm not a morning person. I didn't realize for me that what that really meant, if I was actually listening to my body, it meant that I wasn't having a good night's sleep. Who knew? Anyway, I started on the multivitamins. The Rise and Restore in particular is the one that I use. Love, love, love that product. It was game changing for me. And I'm going to tell you, I went in as a skeptic because I was never really, a multivitamin because I eat healthy. I thought eating a really, balanced diet would be all I really needed. However, when I did the IWH, training and whatever, and think about my food, I clearly, was blindsiding, putting, a mask over my eyes, not realizing that the meal that I made didn't probably have all the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that I needed. And when I took that product, like within 3 days, and it's different for everybody, but for me, within 3 days, I had a great night's sleep and woke before my alarm clock. And I was the lady who snooze, snooze, snooze. I actually was able to get this. I was actually to train my husband to bring me coffee in bed. And now I still make him do that. Like he still does. It's a habit. Yay. But I'm awake before my alarm clock every single day. I'm not just saying that. So
And you're,
vitamins and minerals. Mm.
and are you feeling refreshed? Like when you wake up, there's a difference between waking up and waking up refreshed. And then I think when you're living in that space, so you're just sleeping, you might have, menopausal symptoms such as night sweats and that are waking you up, or you have to run to the washroom several times. That's interrupted sleep, right? And so
Mhm.
you may get back to sleep, but then when you wake up, there's you're not refreshed. And I think for me, there's a huge difference between having a good night's sleep and sleeping. It's different. Would you agree or disagree, ladies?
I would completely agree. And thank you for bringing up the menopause hormonal stuff. I think we're all kind of dealing with that at different levels. And I think, I don't know about you guys, but nobody warned me. I don't have any older
Mm.
sisters, and my mom's 30 years older than me, and she didn't have sisters, and of course came from a generation and a time where people just whispered menopause. They didn't really say it out loud because it wasn't acceptable. You certainly wouldn't have discussed symptoms with your husband. You might go to a doctor, and my understanding back in that generation is they often just would do a hysterectomy because, well, that would solve the problem. So I think talking about hormones and normalizing what is a true menopause symptom, because it's not just night sweats.
No.
It's not, at least it's not what the things I thought. I was having massive hip pain on one side, like colossal. I was taking a ton of Advil every day just to like get up and walk around. And I didn't realize that that was all part of menopausal symptoms for me, and maybe a little bit of nutrient deficiencies as well, because I did feel some ease when I started on my osteo and magnesium in that. But when I started on the Hope menopause system, it actually completely went away, completely. And you
Yeah.
can't sleep well if something hurts the whole time you're sleeping. It's just not possible.
So we're like, we have committed to speaking with each other, like having these chats for about a 15-minute timeline. But I think this is going to grow into something much bigger. Because I think for me, when I hear stories from other women, I'm like, oh, I'm not alone. Like it's really remarkable when we really start to open up and talk to each other rather than just say, stay silent in the background and suffer. Like I have done that. I've, I think of my mother when she was 85 years old, still having night sweats and, you know, hot flashes and night sweats, and I'm like 61 and I know I'm my mother's daughter. Like I walk like her, I talk like her. I'm her. And I'm going, is this my future? I already had 22 years of menopause symptoms. Am I going to continue on with this? Like, and it was, so I have older sisters, and, we're all like, one sister's a little bit different. She's more like my aunt. I would say when I see her, she looks more like my aunt, but my other sisters are like mom. They're 76 years old and they still have their night sweats and stuff. And I'm like, am I going down that path now? I'm like, no way. So I think having those conversations, understanding what health and wellness should look like, and not that we are, a failure. Because a lot of people go, oh, I'm just a mess. And they just accept that I'm getting old. So I don't know where we want to go with these conversations. What do you guys think?
Well, I'll jump in and just say, I think as for us women who are, as Tracy said, we're at different levels of our menopause journey, and menopause is different for every single woman, which, some night sweats and obscure things like frozen shoulder, which I had. But the bottom line is, I think overall, for centuries, women have been gaslit that, this is just normal and have a hysterectomy or whatever. And I think, moving forward as we come together, we're going to have like candid discussions about some of the stuff that we've just been told to, just put up with it. It's normal. This is what you have to deal with. So I love the idea of coming together once a month.
Yeah, me too. And I think if there's anything from today, to me, it's about remembering that we are giving ourselves permission, and anyone who might be listening that maybe needs to hear it, to go ahead and start imperfectly. Don't worry about the highlight reels you're seeing on social media or somewhere else where it looks like someone has it all together and is hitting the gym 5 days a week and is doing all their goals to perfection, because that really is just a highlight reel, and the reels might not be real, if you know what I mean.
I
So
love that.
starting where you are right now with intentional steps, like I said, I'm a big believer in writing stuff down. and just letting go of that notion that you have to do all or nothing. Oh, I didn't do this, so I might as well give up. Doesn't need to be the path. There is a path of small intentional steps to get you where you want to go.
Mm.
I think I like, what I always say to myself, which I think is really it empowers me. Um, I'm allowed to start when I want to start. So I've set some goals. One was to, start weight training or getting strength training in. Have I, it's like I've had 2 days in a row. But I think it's like you can start messy. Just get messy with it and see how you can work that and start slowly rather than this pressure that you put on you like, I do this. And it is like, this is going to affect everybody around you because mama's not happy,
Mm.
right? Mama's pushing herself in a direction that might not be what she needs. So a fresh start or, you know, what's that mindset? What do you need to do with your mindset to stay focused without all that pressure? So I think it's just like progress is a little step here and a little step there and get messy is going to be a good thing. And find an accountability partner that's not like somebody that's like driving, but compassionate and saying, okay, let's keep going, right? And so they kind of, if you need that little push, find somebody that can help you reach those goals too.
Yeah, I love that, Denise. And I think it's important to remember that sometimes progress might look like a failure because doing something and realizing that that wasn't the right choice and making a pivot to something else, that's progress. Even though
Mhm.
it might feel like you made a mistake and you failed and it didn't work out, learning and making a choice to keep going is progress always.
Yeah, and considering that, I think, what is it, the second Friday of every January is Quitters Day. I mean, maybe
Mhm.
we just need to reframe that and it becomes a reset day. It's like, okay, first attempt wasn't what I planned, life happened. It's like reset. What will work for 2026? It's not just January, it's like 12 months of the year.
Yeah, I
What if
agree
the
with that.
second Friday of January we quit quitting? What if
We
that?
quit. I love
We
that.
quit quitting.
Quit quitting. Love it. Let's do a campaign. Who's with us?
Oh, I would love that. Quit quitting. Like, and every, like take, I think when you're starting, we talked about listen to your body. What is your body saying to you, right? And if you pick one or two things, like maybe, you're not sleeping well. Well, why are you not sleeping well? Discovering the root reason why. And, like as we're all IWH certified coaches, and what's really cool is that we can offer you guys these really cool assessments because your body is talking to you regularly. And so when you do an assessment with either any of us, we get these health score numbers. And that's all where it all started for me back in March last year is that I could do a whole podcast literally on how my body was feeling. And at 60 years, I had turned 60 and I'm thinking, this is it. And I'm like, I am duped. I was seriously duped. Pain, all kinds of, I won't say the word, but all kinds of stuff. And
Go ahead, say it.
when I did the evaluation, it came back. And then when I worked with my coach, that's when things like I started understanding why those symptoms were showing up and that there was a solution. I could go on a path of discovering what I could take to help improve my health. And I can say a year later, 10 months later, basically, who I was then and who I am today is like rejuvenated, renewed, and it's not a 61-year-old because I had my birthday. I feel like I'm back at my 40s. Like,
Wow.
and that's a big deal. So if any of you are feeling like crap and you go like, I don't even know where to start, maybe it's a start. What would you guys think? Start with an evaluation?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a really smart idea. And I think even before the evaluation, start by telling yourself that that doesn't have to be your everyday normal. It's not just getting older. That's kind of a load of crap.
It is. Yeah, really is. Yeah. So reach out to your IWH coach that you're aligned with, and um, I'm sure we've got the link in our YouTube channel. That's just a click, and we're good to go. So thanks everyone for popping in to our first of many little chats. I don't know if we'll be on the wall next time, but
Well, we'll
this
see
was
where
sort
we
of
go,
fun.
right?
Yeah. Do we want to talk, just tease a little bit about
Oh,
what we're going to
definitely.
do in
Let's do it.
February?
What should we talk about? Next month is
It's Valentine's month.
Galentine's.
There we go.
Mm.
Let's do one for the girls.
Oh, we might maybe do what? Makeup? Can we do makeup? Peeling ourselves? I
Well,
know,
there's
it sounds
one.
like
It's
fun.
about loving each other, loving yourself for who you are. I think
Yeah.
that, really learning that stop comparing
hmm
and start thriving, being who you are. I think
I
that,
love,
and then, what does that look like for you? What are we going to celebrate as women?
I love that because I think every relationship you have, whether it's a spousal relationship or siblings or friends, they're all deeper when you truly love yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Awesome. Awesome,
So,
guys.
so I want to ask one question as we close. What is so as you're reflecting, you've listened to us, I want you to go back and start thinking, what is your body asking you for this year that you have been ignoring? I
Mhm.
think that's a very powerful question. And from there, that starts the journey of where you're going to take your 2026.
Love
Yeah,
it.
because it's the year of the horse,
I love that.
the year of the horse. It's a really exciting year.
Mm. It's
That's
meant to be
awesome.
a good year.
hmm
So, all right. Well, ladies, it was great to be on the wall with you.
Yes.
This is so much fun. So thanks for everything, guys. Have a really great week, and we'll see you next month. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.